I guess I'd just say Debbie is a really good example. Like, we didn't have any consistency with, like, I guess the actual pastors always changing for the confirmation program, but she was there every single year.
Hey Woodlake, Pastor Micah here. I'm here with Nathan and Casey Gay, and they are here to share what faith is like from their perspective. Our life groups this season is Faith Like a Child. And who better to learn about God from than youth, kids? They will make us see God in ways that we have never imagined. So first of all, I just want to thank you because you guys are awesome. You have an amazing perspective about God. You have important things to share. And we as a church want to listen. Sometimes we don't always incorporate youth perspective into things. And this is why we're doing this, because we want to include your perspectives. If you just want to give a little introduction of yourself to both Woodlake and House of Prayer that are watching, and share your name, grade, and maybe a couple things that you're just involved with in school right now.
Go ahead.
I'm Casey Gay. I'm a junior at Richfield High School. I play football, basketball, and I run track.
I'm Nathan Gay. I'm also a junior at Richfield High School. I do cross country, basketball, and track. I used to do football with him, but then I switched to cross country.
Nice.
Yeah.
So COVID has affected you greatly. What's your day like? Do you do online school? Do you do, just share a little bit, because I think people might be curious to say, what is life like as a student?
All things considered, it's fairly close to a regular school year. It just, there's more COVID precautions in school during it. The biggest difference, honestly, is probably just the masks at this point.
Yeah.
Towards the end of our first semester, we had to go online for a week because just the number of COVID cases and lack of teachers and staff. So it's just kind of stressful knowing that at any point you can have to switch to online. Online school isn't even really school. They mostly just give you an assignment to do and you do it whenever you feel like it.
To elaborate on that, last year when we had like legitimate online classes, it was a lot different. Those, I didn't really enjoy that. Taking class on calls and doing homework, like all of your schoolwork at home, I didn't really enjoy. But this year, when it was only like for 3 days and we didn't have very many assignments, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah. And just to like lift that up, you've gone through something no one else has gone through. You've made it through this point, and then it feels a little more normal now. I bet that feels really good.
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
What's your favorite subject in school?
It's kind of hard. I've always enjoyed history.
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting stuff that's happened, and I find it more fun to look at like past wars and how we can improve on that and just what's been done than trying to find one specific answer for through any formula or anything like that.
You can learn a lot through history. You learn not to repeat the same mistakes.
Exactly.
Which you're like, why are we doing that again? We've already done that.
Exactly.
Favorite subject?
I kind of like math, honestly.
Awesome.
I like that there's, it's kind of nice to be able to just learn like an algorithm, a method to do something and then successfully get it.
We're moving from you to more about just life. Can you share a little bit about what's it like to be a twin?
It's usually pretty nice. Like, you always have someone there. If you don't have something to do, you can just say, hey, you want to play basketball? Hey, you want to do this? And there's always someone there. But it can also be kind of tiring. You don't really have a lot of just something that's only yours, something that just you do.
Yeah, sometimes you won't be recognized as an individual. You'll just be recognized as part of the twins.
Yeah, that can be frustrating.
To be honest, that's why I enjoyed cross country so much.
Yeah.
With him having football, I have cross country. We kind of got to do our own things.
Yeah, that's really, really insightful. I mean, to say, while in one aspect, it's really great to have that closeness, it's also, you're your own person.
Exactly.
You have your own ideas, you have your own thoughts, and it's okay to have separation. So, you're a teenager. You follow the news, you follow your students of the history of things that are happening in the world. So if I name some things, just give me a snap reaction to what you're feeling about those issues.
Sure.
How about we'll talk about racial justice. George Floyd was murdered pretty close to where you live. What were you thinking about when that happened?
Just really interesting because with like how diverse Richfield is, we have a lot of friends that related to it a lot more than we did.
Yeah.
Like we have friends who are African American who not like personally knew him, but like had experiences similar to that with people of authority.
And would they share that with you?
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah. If I say Black Lives Matter, what do you think?
I think it's crazy that there even has to be movement after all this time. Like, after the civil rights movement and just how it still exists today, that people just can't accept that.
Yeah. When you think of politics, what comes to mind?
Mostly just
Biden versus Trump, just that whole...
mostly just like the divide between people.
Yeah.
It's mostly you're either this or you're that, and there's not a lot of common ground.
Is that shown in school too?
To be honest, in our class, mostly it's one group.
Yeah.
Because of how diverse Richfield is, it's pretty commonly accepted that more on the progressive side, I'd say.
So the kind of the butting heads isn't quite your experience in school.
Thankfully not.
Yeah, school it's not as politically fueled as a lot of other places.
You have an important perspective about faith. So I'm just going to ask a few questions about faith and about God.
Sure.
If you could share one word that describes God, what would it be?
That's tough.
And you could say tough as a word. That would describe God.
It's kind of simplistic, but I'd just say good.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it as good versus bad, God would be characterized as the good.
Yeah.
Gracious.
Gracious. Good. In your life, can you just share of a relative or a family member or even a friend that just is more Jesus-like or Christ-like in your mind?
I'd say my mom. Because she goes out of her way to help other people. She'll, I guess that's just a good way to say it. She'll put others' needs first, work her hardest to help them out.
Yeah, I'd agree with that very much.
Yeah. That's a good model for our church.
I would say.
What you just said. I mean, take that, say, how do we live that as a church? So if we move to our church, what is one thing you really have enjoyed about Woodlake?
I think all the people here, right when we got here, maybe it's because they were interested in us being twins, but they always knew us as the twins, and they've always been really welcoming and kind to us.
Yeah, even after a service today, we was just nice older couples checking in. How's sports going? How's your life going?
And what's one thing that you have found that is challenging at Woodlake?
I'm not sure. We've had a pretty good experience. I guess the youth program has kind of been clustered. When we were in confirmation, we had a number of different youth leaders. It was
That's true.
yeah.
And what I'm hearing is consistency is important.
Yeah, I'd say.
Of having consistent leaders that you can look to, rely on, and kind of build up programs.
Yeah.
In your experience, there hasn't been consistency.
Not a whole lot. I mean, it hasn't been bad, I wouldn't say, but I think our first year confirmation, we had Pastor Charlie.
Yeah.
Our next year, it was led mostly by Paul. And then our final year, you and Pastor Neil led it, I'd say, mostly.
Yeah. That's hard. It's hard having different people that, we all look for consistency in things.
I guess I'd just say Debbie is a really good example. We didn't have any consistency with I guess the actual pastors always changing for the confirmation program, but she was there every single year. She was the fun part of confirmation. Everyone loved her.
That's really, really powerful to hear. And that how Woodlake, House of Prayer, can be a part of that. It doesn't seem to be that hard.
Yeah.
It just takes committed people that care about you.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
Exactly.
Well, I want to thank you both. It's not easy to share, to open up. And I am just grateful for you and sharing your faith. We have a lot to learn as a faith community. And we're grateful to learn from both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.